Hello there, peoples. Welcome back to 614 Punch, the show about the fighting game community here in Columbus. I'm Felicia, aka Catgirl Princess, and this is episode 3, TekkenCalibur Crusade. Features guest speakers Kyle Kiester, aka TheKiest, and Anthony Pompey, aka Zion, two of the longest-running tournament organizers in Columbus. This episode is all about the bi-monthly series they host, TekkenCalibur Crusade. So whether you're a fan of Soul Calibur, or Tekken, or both, get ready to enter the King of Iron Fist stage of history. So why don't we start by having you two introduce yourselves?
My name is Kyle Kiester, TheKiest. I have been involved in competitive gaming since 2005 with Tekken 5, and then I started running my first event in 2008 at Ohio University with the Brawl events, which I did for about 2 years, and then joined the Columbus FGC, helped run events with them, and been doing so since.
All right, and I'm Anthony Pompey. Most people in the scene know me as Zion. I'm a Tekken and Soul Calibur player. I'm also a TO here in Columbus, Ohio. I've been involved in the scene since about 2011, around the time I think Super Street Fighter 4 was out. Mm-hmm. That's where I kind of cut my teeth and learned the game. I've been part of the Indiana scene a little bit, moved over to the San Diego, played there for a couple of years, and then I moved here to Columbus, and that's really where I took my time to learn how to be a TO, because I got more involved with this scene, and I've just been helping out with events like TekkenCalibur, the local scene, and I'm also hopefully going to be working on future tournaments with some other organizers here in the city as well. But yeah, that's pretty much everything, other than I'm also a staff member over at Game Arena, the local LAN center here.
Mm-hmm. Some good stuff. These two have been like the most prolific tournament organizers in Columbus for a little while now. And these two also collaborated to start the event known as TekkenCalibur, which is a bi-monthly series here in Cebus. So why don't we start by asking, what, for those that aren't from Columbus or just somehow haven't heard of the event, what is TekkenCalibur?
So it's something I've always wanted to do with fighting games in general is whenever you have a tournament, you would always go to a fighting game event that you'd have to have Street Fighter, you'd have to have a NRS game, you'd have to have a 3D game, you'd have to have an anime game. You'd have to have all these different groups of games, and the scenes wouldn't necessarily clash or necessarily like combine with each other and stuff. Smash Brothers was always the exception. They had enough people that they could just run their one game. Yes, there's Smash Melee, yes, there was Brawl, yes, there's Smash 4, but each of those scenes were large enough that they can have their own venue and their own day dedicated to just their single game. So I've always wanted to do that with Tekken ever since 2005, but the scene never was large enough until Tekken 7, where now our Columbus events just during the week get around from 16 to 24, which is enough to pay most venues, and that's not even including anyone we'd get from out of town that doesn't have to work the next day during the weekends and stuff. So originally I wasn't going to add Soul Calibur to this list, and it was originally just called Tekken Crusade, but then Soul Calibur 6 came out, and turns out people were willing to play that and Tekken at the same time, or even slightly separate ways and stuff. So numbers have dwindled on that a little bit, but it's enough to just combine the events and make it a Bamco event. Then Crusade came from my TO partner, Soul Calibur. Anytime I do anything, period, I probably discuss with him a good 6 to 7 months before anyone else knows about it. So most ideas are a combination of us two coming up with it.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming this is also partially out of feeling that maybe 3D games don't get as much love as, say, most 2D games tend to get.
Yeah, there was that as well. Like, in order to go to a Tekken event, you'd have to go to, like, a Street Fighter major, or you'd have to go to a Smash event, even, and that was kind of iffy with that kind of stuff, so.
So you kind of talked a bit about what led you wanting to start the event, but what made you decide to do, okay, it's going to be this specific event with some old games and new games at this venue, and make it like a bi-monthly series?
So I am not a big fan of monthlies in general, because there's so many weeklies that people don't want to necessarily travel as much, and then when they do want to travel, they want to travel to a major. So I don't think the monthly format is really beneficial unless you're dependent on it, like if you're a business organization like Outer Haven. But as for the games themselves, usually with Smash events, you had doubles, you had crew fights, and all this other stuff. So TekkenCalibur started that way too. We had round robin pools into elimination brackets, and we had a 3v3 team battle thing, and then we had a side event that was like tag 1, but the side event could have been anything. And we had people like that they tried the pools, but wasn't that big of a fan of it at the long run, and then teams started to fall off a bit. And then Soul Calibur 6 came out, so it's like, well, if we're going to do an old Tekken game, then we're going to do an old Soul Calibur game too. So it's kind of more of, again, I was trying to duplicate the Smash event as best I could for Tekken, and that's kind of the result you see now.
Maybe to talk a bit about, why don't we talk a bit about close quarters, because I don't know if we'll get to talk about it much on the show. How did you hear about the venue? What made you decide that that was going to be the best place? I have a feeling this is going to be a funny story.
Not really. It's just you asked kind of two different stories, I guess, how I heard about the venue versus how I got it for TekkenCalibur. So
okay.
I'll go with the latter question.
Okay.
Because Iron can kind of chip in with this. I have access to about 4 great venues in Columbus, so whenever I run the event, it goes, all right, now I know what my event's going to be, so we already talked about what TekkenCalibur is going to be. Where am I going to run this at? So, and what's the best spot for it? We're expecting around, anywhere between 20 and like 60 entrants at a given time, and we want to be able to stream it well, and we kind of just want people to gather around and have fun with like little restrictions. So close quarters was the best choice on that. Would you agree with anything comment on that? Or
Yeah, I think close quarters for an event like TekkenCalibur is probably the best, just because you won't have to worry about the public. Like GA, for example, a lot of our events will have people also there just enjoying their weekend. So having a place where you can just have pure FGC people is probably really nice. And it's, with the proper internet and everything, it's better than, like Coffee Underground is a solid venue for like our bigger tournaments past that. But that it has a decent enough size that I think that gives a nice feeling of being, closer together instead of being spread out on a big venue, I'd say. Almost like a...
Mm-hmm. What has been your favorite part of hosting TekkenCalibur so far? Like a specific moment, just a crowd reaction? I mean, I know it became a dojo event for Tekken World Tour, but I have a feeling there's something else that you would probably say has been your favorite part of it so far.
Well, generally for me, personally, TekkenCalibur, it's one of the few times outside of majors that I happen to run it that I legitimately get to play Soul Calibur 2 in tournament. I never played that game Legacy, like I'm not like an old school like tournament player for that, but I came in growing up playing that game, loved it, and then within learning stuff in the fighting game community, finding that there was a solid competitive scene for it and going back and learning that game has been extremely fun. And that's probably one of the few fighting games or games in general that like anything that happens in that game, whether or not I got destroyed or not, I just take it completely in stride and it's just fun. So Soul Calibur 2 is probably the main thing that I look forward to the most.
And it's crazy because it's one of those games where whenever people think of Soul Calibur, they're actually thinking about number 2 to begin with. So
yeah,
we already get a lot of people that just are hype about it, even if they're not entering it and stuff, and they get to actually see decent Soul Calibur 2 play. Because there is no great Soul Calibur 2 play. It's all decent and good, and that's it.
Yeah.
My favorite part has unfortunately dwindled in the last few. I'm hoping it comes back with World Tour stuff, but it's always been the team tournaments.
First team tournament was hype.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, we do 3v3s, but we don't do 3v3 traditionally like other fighting games. I call it survival mode, so it's more like Smash Brothers, where you have your stocks, but instead you have your round count. So in other words, I can only live for 3 rounds and then I'm out. It doesn't matter if I win the first one, but if the first game, if the other guy took 2 rounds off me, then I only have 1 round going to the next one. What that does is it balances the teams a lot more, especially in a tightly balanced game like Tekken. Because if I'm not as good as the other guy, as long as I can take a round off, I'm helping the team, and then that becomes hype. And then we get moments like McCrae doing several all kills in the same day. And,
yeah.
And everyone wants to watch Miguel like stand his ground and wreck that stuff. So it was great from a spectator aspect. And it's been hard to get top end players in the region to really go for it, but it's one of those like like eating your vegetables. Once you see the benefits of it and you dive in and doing it, then you'll you're like, all right, this is good and stuff. So that's been my favorite part about it.
Is there anything you hope to do with TekkenCalibur in the future? Any ways to like expand numbers? Anything you'd like to do with events specifically? Or just anything you go, I think this would be cool for the event?
Pretty much, the dream is enough players from the other states are all at the same one. Like, last Crusade, we had Indiana for the first time. Crusade before that, we had Michigan for the first time. Crusade before that, we had Kentucky for the first time. We need an event where we can get all of them together, including Pittsburgh. And when you have enough like that, that's when this goes back to the team stuff, that's when the team tournament stuff gets a lot more interesting, and you can start actually having these crew tournaments and kind of like figuring out who's the best at this stuff and having a bunch of people from your region cheering on and stuff. But
I actually wholeheartedly agree. That was actually what I was going to say, was getting a TekkenCalibur that we have a few states of worth of players come over at the same time. Because, as Keith was saying, we get them bits and pieces. People find time off at different times, but I'm really looking forward to that TekkenCalibur when we get at least, like, in Ohio, and at least, like, 3 to 4 other states come out just and meet up at this one location to play just 30.
That's gonna be a lot of people if we can pull that off.
Yeah, might be able to get Soul Calibur teams, too. That'd be nice.
Oh, man.
It wouldn't be the same format, I don't think, with meter and everything, but it'd still be hype and stuff to kind of get that rivalry going again. Because that was definitely another advantage like the Smash scene had, was that because it was one game, they got to focus more on inter-regional rivalries and stuff. Like, we've kind of got it with Ohio and Cleveland and Ohio, Cleveland, like Columbus and Cleveland, and Cincy a little bit as well, but, we want to extend it out beyond that and stuff, and include those guys as well.
Maybe we should talk to some of the people attending Combo Breaker, see if we can convince them to come over to TekkenCalibur.
Yeah, people are always welcome to spread the word of my events and stuff, so
yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
All right. Do you have any other closing thoughts, anything else you want to share about the event, or anything you wish you want to say about TekkenCalibur or, like, TOing and Columbus in general that you haven't gotten to so far?
Let's see.
I want Zion to go first, because mine will be more of a closing point, I think.
Okay.
It's more future plans.
Okay, I gotcha.
I'd say the one thing overall, I guess, with TOing and stuff, I guess, I've been noticing a lot of people have been stepping up to the plate to learn how to TO and getting their feet wet here at the locals, which I am absolutely excited for. Seeing people like Obelisk and seeing people like Ace and even Brian coming in playing a little Power Rangers. Like, we got local people that are coming in and becoming TOs, and I'm really excited to see that, because that just means that more people are going to be able to run events. There's going to be more people that are passionate about the games that they want to run outside of being a player, because I think that's one of the most important things with a lot of these scenes. We have local players that want to play certain games, and outside of playing casuals, they don't really push it past that. But having people, like, for example, Soul Calibur 2, we wouldn't have had a scene if, I didn't come out and just start running it. It is a popular game, but without that, we would just been unorganized play and just people just coming in and playing it here or there. I guess for the city, want to see more people, give TOing a shot and see how much fun it can be.
It's a good reminder that there's more to the fighting game community than just playing. I think a lot of people think you have to train to be a champion or something to be in there, but the people that are TOing or just stepping up to help make sure things are organized, or people like Matt helping stream, are just as important to the scene as the players. So I think that's cool bringing that up.
Yeah, and content like this, too. It all kind of like adds fluff to it, so keep it up. Just to kind of go off of Zion's point a little bit before I go my thoughts on it, is the one of the reasons I did round-robin pools, and, you can do something like this when we start hitting around 32 entrants in a single bracket, is the Smash scene has what's called the amateur bracket, where essentially their 0 and 2s and their 1 and 2s get a chance to enter a second bracket. And then that way all the players try to break the casual mode into the competitive mode, they get more games against players at their level. So they can use that as a chance to, like, kind of learn from what they learned in the actual bracket to just getting more practice in their skill level with like actually something on the line and stuff. Yeah, and then the way they do amateur brackets too, it's just another buy-in. Usually it's cheap, like $1 or something, because again, you don't want to milk money already from the 0 and 2ers and the 1 and 2ers and stuff. Plus, most people are there just because they like the games.
Exactly.
TekkenCalibur for me. So that's one of the points, but my goal is I want TekkenCalibur to be the point where it's the Tekken hub, I guess, in the Midwest. So if another event is being planned, they'll go and they'll have to look at the schedule and go, oh, TekkenCalibur is on that weekend. We can't run Tekken at our event because people won't be there, kind of a thing. And then in order for that to happen, TekkenCalibur has to be such a good event that players would skip, not like Combo Breaker, but like something else. Like they'd have to consider not going to an event like Naptown Clutch or Ground Zero to go to TekkenCalibur instead, because that's where the Tekken competition and Tekken prize is going to be and stuff. To where that's kind of the goal I have with that. It's a goal, but it's don't know what will happen soon. But
still, that is quite the goal. Shooting for the stars. I think that's the best way to put it.
And so you just do little innovations here and there. Next thing is just to kind of focus more on using the World Tour to get more people from all over the place to come in, and then kind of making events catering to that select group of people, and then spreading out and so on. So close quarters is like the venue we have now, but ideally Game Arena would be a good choice when we start getting into the larger numbers, or Donatos again or something like that. So
yeah,
I think the other one is definitely I kind of want to see more with I already mentioned it with teams, but I kind of want to see more with kind of getting to the point where the event is known even on a stream level. So like if players are not going to this, they're at least advertising it out and stuff, and then that allows us to level up our commentators as well. Because we know we got some good talent on the mic and stuff, so it'd be good to see that grow and that become more recognized in the Tekken community altogether. So, but pretty much just to get known by the Tekken scene of, hey, there's good Midwest Tekken out here and they produce good content every bi-monthly and stuff. So,
hey Arata, give us a shout out on Twitter. Oh wait, we can't ask him for shit. Anyways, well, Zion Kiest. I almost said Zion Anthony, not Zion Kiest. Thank you both for being on the show and talking about it, and hopefully we'll get some bigger numbers at the next TekkenCalibur.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone want to get the last word?
No. Good job.
All right. Hi there, this is Felicia again. Just wanted to say thanks again for listening to the show. 614 Punch is a Patreon-supported show. Be sure to check out our Patreon to see how you can help keep the show going, listen to episodes early, and potentially even be on the show. If you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions for the show, please feel free to email us at 614punch@gmail.com. But until next time, this has been Felicia saying thank you for listening, and enjoy an audio outtake courtesy of TheKiest. Go ahead and just say something to the mic. I turned up the level a little bit.
This is a mic test brought to you by Mike the Mic Man, sponsored by Mike's Hard Lemonade, made by Mikes for Mikes and from Mikes. Mike that?
You really had that practice?
That was my mic test back when I was a streamer.
Oh man.